aka Patters, thank you for joining me. I am Peter A. DeLuca, aka the Pop Culture King, aka your movie fanatic, and we are racing. If you haven't already figured it out, the sound effects, right? The noise around my voice. We're racing to 300, and we're doing all car movies, not movies about cars, car racing movies. And right now we have Sylvester Stallone's entry into this run to 300. It is Driven 2001. We have to talk about this movie. We actually have to know about this movie. This movie should be on your radar for a lot of different reasons. Let's get through that intro and get to it. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming back. I took a little bit of a break there, unintentional, because I've been nonstop, hashtag nonstop on Trial by Fire. That's my comic book right now. That is on Indiegogo. You can sign up. I was supposed to launch on July 30th, and I missed my own launch date. But it also kicked up a storm of other work that I have to do for the project, ways to be prepared, and just documentation of how to prepare for the next one, because this is going to be ongoing. So every time you hear me, I'm going to be working and selling and slinging a American-made comic book. So rock and roll. I do ship worldwide. So if you can, hit Indiegogo and let's do this. So 2001 comes around. So our latest movie, Days of Thunder, I'm pretty sure it was Days of Thunder was 1990. I don't know if you can hear me. Days of Thunder was 1990. 2001, we're leapfrogging here. So look, this Road to 300, 1962, 1963 Grand Prix, the James Garner movie. And now we're in 2001. So we're in the modern age. We're post 90s. As much as Top Gun defined an era of action movies, Days of Thunder is the effects. Is like the almost like the definition of the look, the feel, the editing, the pacing, the way we're going to use our characters for the next 10 years. And in a larger way, Driven is exactly that also. So it's interesting how there's a symmetry between Days of Thunder and Driven. Now, both of these movies, and I'm comparing them because they're like far enough and further apart enough to have a lot of like similarities that are really not addressed. So we have like the emergence of the technology of the day. We have the emergence of a new culture. We have the emergence of societal standards. And both of these movies, they play into that. And Driven is set out to correct what Days of Thunder got wrong, meaning better relationships, better melodrama, better elements of racing, meaning the racing industry. This movie tries to become the Any Given Sunday of, which is 1999, I believe, of car racing movies. And I would say Any Given Sunday directly affected this movie because there's an ownership element. There's a pit boss element. There's a melodrama element. There's actually three strong male characters, male racers, male-driven, pun intended, relationships. I would say maybe four. And everyone has a stake. Everyone is biting for a position. And it's lack of allegory, lack of creativity. I don't know what you call it. I don't think it's lack of creativity. I really believe that the idea for this movie, and I can go back and remember some of the advertising. It was like, you're driven in life, and these guys are driven literally. And along the way, they filled the movie with two of the best veterans you can at the time, Sylvester Stallone and Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds, somewhat of a comeback with Boogie Nights. Got a lot of attention from that movie, rightfully so. And we have Stallone, who is Stallone's struggling at this point. like Stallone never really recovered from the 1996 Judge Dredd movie. And we're a couple years down the road. We got a few movies underneath the belt. We have a few dramas or lower driven. I gotta stop saying that word. Lower positioned movies. Okay, so who do we put around these two people, right? I mean, we have Hollywood royalty littered in this movie, and we have Rennie Harlin, who is our director. Now, this movie also seems to be somewhat of a Stallone vehicle. He's involved with the story, as he normally is with his movies. And we have Rennie Harlin that is rebuilding his career from a disaster of his own. So, like Burt Reynolds, the character of Burt Reynolds, is essentially Sylvester Stallone in real life. And Sylvester Stallone is kind of just like Rennie Harlin in real life. These are two grizzled war veterans that still have their teeth, two lions that still have their teeth, and they're still in the game, and they want to have control. And it's a very cool story element that does echo their careers. If we go through Stallone, I told you it was Judge Dredd. So in 1993, I'm sorry, I thought it was 93. Judge Dredd was 95. I'm sorry. We have Cliffhanger. I clearly remember Cliffhanger, seeing it in the theater and being insanely blown away by that movie. I watched that movie today, still, just for the first 10-15 minutes. I love the first 10-15 minutes of that movie. Cliffhanger, I always thought needed like a prequel because Stallone's character in that movie has so much backstory. This is almost like a point in Stallone's career where he's reflecting. And we have his character in Demolition Man, Cliffhanger, and this movie where he's looking back. So Cliffhanger comes out as a hit. Then we have like Demolition Man. We have a slide. We have The Specialist, Sharon Stone. We got some money. And then we're in 95 Judge Dredd. And then we're in Assassins and Antonio Banderas. Slide, Daylight Slide, Copland. Lots of attention. Award attention. Great movie too. Then we have Ants, DreamWorks, animated movie. No one cares, no big deal. 2000 Get Carter. We kind of forget about this movie. An immensely underrated, overlooked movie. And then 2001, we have Driven. To look at what comes after, we have to kind of jump to 2006 for Rocky Balboa. So it's a good 5-year gap. It's a larger gap between 93 Cliffhanger and 2006 Rocky Balboa, which is essentially his return. That Stallone himself is in this movie. So we have these scenarios, and we surround these two veterans by the youngest, hottest up-and-comers we can. And they made good choices. Because everyone in this movie is good. Everyone swings for the fences. I'm dancing around saying if this is a good movie or not, saying if this movie is watchable. Why am I doing that? It's simple, because I like more of this movie that I dislike about this movie. It's hard to recommend this movie because you really have to transport your mind into the time that this movie was made, the time it came out. The intent of this movie is to bring back Rennie Harlin and Sylvester Stallone, potentially create a little bit of a franchise, because there's so much in this movie. You can have a sequel, okay? You want to call it world building, you want to call it storytelling, call it whatever you want. But this movie is stacked even in the content. And what's the disconnection? Well, the disconnection is that this movie, it's like it kind of falls apart with the melodrama. You don't buy the melodrama. I don't buy the music. Who the heck did the music for this movie? Let me look. The music for this movie is some guy named BT, who's I'm sure young. I'm sure with the name BT, you're only into club and house music. So we have this thing where like this is what the young kids are listening to. The look, the editing, the movement of the car racing, shot by shot, is indicative of the 90s. I would say it's still today. Movies still suffer from some of this editing. But there's a lot of wide shots. The camera pulls back enough where you see what's happening. You can track what's happening. I still say the special effects, the uniqueness. The some of these shots are very unique. Some of it was called driven vision at the time, but they do a lot of cool things with CGI, with computer effects, bringing you inside, outside, like almost like into the engine, into the actual car, and relating that to the race and relating that to the driver. They do a very good job of that in this movie. So it's hard to knock the movie for that. The movie's working and trying. A lot of the sequences, the way how these are done, we see in Fast and Furious. Which is not on our list because Fast and Furious is not of enough of a car racing movie. It's a good movie though. Yeah, so and then we have all this stuff. We have really bad music. The music just doesn't work with this movie at all. Maybe for one sequence, like like to get a little bit of that new clubness. But it just doesn't work. It doesn't feel like it's placed well at all. It really makes me wonder if there's like an alternate score for this movie somewhere, like someone that they potentially like hired. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's like some of the stuff. It's worth considering. It's worth thinking about, and I still like this movie though because oh my god, it tries so hard. It does swing for the fences. Everyone in this movie literally was driven. It just wasn't driven into a recommendable, cohesive movie. But I like the beginning. I love the end because the end just captures you. These movies always have good. Look, I really dislike Cars. I thought Cars was super lazy until the end. Car racing movies have great endings. I like that it commits to Formula One. We also, along the way too, we have a ridiculous city street racing scene that probably could leave the movie. I would love to see some fan edits of this movie to really see if we can boil it down. Get a lot of that melodrama out of it because we don't buy the relationships. We don't. The Burt Reynolds Stallone conflict works. Like that's really what the movie should be about. But it can't be because we're paying attention to these younger up and coming drivers. So look, 290, 298. We're right there. We're going to do Ron Howard's Rush with the Thor dude, Chris Hemsworth. I'll say right now, I'm a big fan of Rush. I believe Rush is Hemsworth's best movie outside of like an MCU movie. And by that I mean Infinity War and Ragnarok. Ragnarok, he really shined. Now, you know what? I'll say all that. I like him as Thor. I like him in all the Thor movies. Similar situation though. Ron Howard, who, I'm not sure. I'm maybe the only person that likes Solo. When was the last time that dude made anything? Rush is a little bit of a similar scenario where we have a veteran trying to spoon feed you something new and cool. with this allegory of car racing echoing their actual careers. It's just cool stuff. But look, we're doing Rush next, 298, AKAPAD's Audio Audacity podcast. Trial by Fire, available right now on Indiegogo. Look it up. It's a comic. It'll blow your mind. The research and the ideas of the science fiction parts of Trial by Fire, I hate to say it, they're new, they're original, they're out there. Like, they're, I don't know what else you can compare it to. But again, everyone, I love you. Go out there, be creative. Okay, let's do it. Go watch Driven. Watch this movie with your friends and just grab a lot of alcohol and whatever else you want to put into your body. Maybe some Dominoes. I love you, and let's do it. Till next time.